Good morning, Abdelrahman. We had a gap of 2 weeks and let's continue our session. And today we are going to talk about transformational topic, digital transformation and sustainability and green supply chain.
Good
Can you
morning. It's an honor being with you. Really, I'm enthusiastic about sustainability and the green supply chain. So let's start.
So let's start. And my first question will be, so can you explain us more about sustainability and what is green supply chain?
Sure. Let's first start with sustainability. It's the practice of balancing environmental, social, and economic needs to ensure that the future generation can meet their own needs. So it's all about consumption and considering our future generation resources. Comes after that, the green supply chain. It involves integration environmental practices into supply chain management to reduce environmental impact, focusing on eco-friendly product design, sourcing, manufacturing, and distribution and disposal too. This transformation play a crucial role here where it enhances sustainability and the green supply chain by using technology to optimize resource uses, minimizing wastes, and improving energy efficiency. Sustainability in business have a certain important pillar we should consider here and mention. First, the environmental sustainability, which include environmental reporting such as carbon footprints, engaging the eco-design and efficiency system and equipment, environmental management system, which measure waste and energy consumption. Comes after that, economic sustainability. We would have here for sure supply chain management and the risk and the crisis management, code of conduct, anti-corruption, and corporate governance. Finally, social sustainability, where we have here a human capital developments plan in HR teams, talent management and talent retention system, labor practices. All of this includes sustainability. It includes three levels, not only economic level, it includes environmental, social. So that's why in green chain, which is environmental oriented, link it with sustainability.
Clear. Thank you for explanation. But can you tell us more why actually businesses have to implement Go Green?
Perfect. We have a motivator for business to go green, and if we mentioned it, we should mention the circular economy. First, let's start with the motivator to business. First, the customer satisfaction. You would be positioned in the customer precision or in his head as a responsible organization. If he's satisfied, it's a group of customer would be talking about you well, so a word of mouth would be added here. You would save money because you reduce waste that would result in improving your profitability as a business. Comes after that, the global legalization and the trends. There is a limitation and restriction for certain markets. If you were exporting to Europe or US, you would consider this in your product. Comes after this, the pressure group. You would avoid to be pressurized by them, or you would gain a competitive advantage if you have considered the green chain or green practices in your supply chain. And as we mentioned before, if we were talking about the green chain, we should consider the circular economy, where we focus on minimizing waste and maximize resource efficiency. First part, which is reduce, is the most responsible action in the green chain to reduce resources you already use in your business or manufacturing. Comes after that, the reuse. You should design your product to be reused to extend its life, so it would be much more efficient, reduce the consumption of the material. Comes after that, the recycling. It's similar to reuse, but it requires to reprocess the damaged product or consumed product into a new product or a new component. If you have no solution from the previously mentioned ones, you go through the recovery of energy, where you dispose of product but recover energy, such like factories which use trash to produce energy. Finally, if you have no way, you must have a responsible landfill where you send the unusable, unrecyclable material to safe landfill. For example, and it's not a very good example, the nuclear waste. Unlike the circular economy, is unlike the traditional linear economy where you take, make, and dispose. That's the difference, and that's it.
Okay, okay, it's very interesting. So I see your point. So we are speaking not only sustainable business growth, but or sustainable goals, but also about cost reducing and improved profitability, right?
Right. Perfect.
Okay, very interesting. But the next question will be, of course, how to go green.
Okay. If you had a good idea about going green and you wanna take the next step, we have an important point to go green. First, the sustainable sourcing. Sustainable sourcing, which is called ethically sourcing material to minimize environmental impact, where you select suppliers who prioritize renewable resources, eco-friendly practices, and social. You must design your product for durability, being reused and recycled, such like, circular economy. Comes after that, the energy efficiency. You should reduce your energy consumption because energy producing require a lot of CO2 emissions. So in both production and transportation entity in your supply chain, there is a most consumption of energy. You must consider this in your energy efficiency step. Waste reduction, you must implement the circular economy principle, which we have mentioned before, to reduce the waste. Finally, eco-friendly logistics. Transportation is one of the most carbon footprints emissions existence. So you must optimize your transportation routes, consolidate your shipment to reduce fuel consumption and emission, and utilizing electrical or alternative fuel vehicles. By integrating these components, companies can create more sustainable and resilient supply chains while reducing their overall environmental impact. You must have a strategies and strategic steps to achieve this. First, you must assess environmental impact and understand where the most parts of your supply chain have the high emission of greenhouse gas or electricity or energy consumption. Comes after that, set sustainable goals. Never say that I would have zero emissions. It's not a sustainable goal. It's not a logic goal. Should be measurable. It should be realistic target for reducing the environment impact, such as lowering the carbon emission or lowering waste or lowering the energy consumption. Engaging your supply chain partners, such as supplier, where you collaborate with your supplier to adapt sustainable sourcing and the production practices, encouraging eco-friendly operation. Finally, you must, after putting a system, such as any system, you must track and report metrics must be included, where you use digital tools to monitor sustainability metrics and report progress transparently, ensuring the accountability. That's it.
Perfect, thank you. And I have one question. So every time when I'm speaking about green supply chain, I have in my mind always the question about footprint or carbon CO2 footprint. Can you tell a bit more about that?
For sure. Carbon footprint comes in our mind mostly when we talk about green supply chain and sustainability. What is carbon footprint? It's the total amount of carbon dioxide or greenhouse gas, especially carbon dioxide, emitted directly and indirectly by organization, product, or even individual or event. So it's life cycle. So it's not about only the organization. Calculation method for carbon footprint. We have a simple method here. You should include your sources of fuel consumption or energy use, such like transportation, raw material suppliers, or manufacturing. Then collecting data about it. Data collection measures the amount of energy used in kilowatt hours, liters, and so on, and emission from transportation or manufacturing, as we mentioned before. Then You should multiply this by the emission factor where you convert the kilowatts consumed in your energy to tons of carbon dioxide through your transportation, manufacturing, as I mentioned before, or even suppliers, products. As we mentioned before, it includes product and individual and organization. Finally, you should summation the total amount per each factor. You should multiply it by emission factor. So you have total tons of carbon dioxide you have already consumed. That's how you detect your supply chain carbon footprint. Comes after that, the strategies we have mentioned before, where you set reasonable goal, monitor and control, and so on.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for explanation. So it's a really exciting topic. Do you want to explain more about carbon footprint? Because I have another question about challenges.
Yeah, we have a challenges in implementing carbon footprint. Thank you, Victoria. First is the initial investment cost. We have
Okay.
a high upfront cost for eco-friendly technologies. This would be a high obstacle, strong obstacle. Comes after that supply chain complexity. If you are talking about large organizations such like Amazon and so on, this would be not easy to apply the green chain where you have a lot of DCs, tons of transportation methods such like cars, planes, and so on. So complexity affected by this too comes after this. There's a resistance to change. The old school prefers the most easy thing. Internal resistance from employees and management can hinder the adoption of new sustainable practice. So it's culture-wise more than investment, and investment comes after culture. After that comes the system and the measuring and the strategies, which is already available. Anyone can considering it, and there is a lot of special instances.
Okay, clear. But so far it's clear about challenges. But do you know already successful models implemented on the market?
For sure, we have a lot of successful model. First, we have Nike, the program where the Nike brand turns manufacturing scrap, used shoes, and used sneakers into new material for products and infrastructure, contributing to a circular life cycle for sportswear. It's just like circular economy. Philips succeeded too, and IKEA succeeded in another model. There are a lot of models succeeded in this culture of going green. It's really important and really amazing. If you can help us, if you found any organization or manufacturing giant from your
Well, in Germany, we have indeed some organization that using green sustainable goals. For example, BMW, they are using aluminium, and this production of aluminium is completely green. So they decided to go against lower price, but they are focusing on long-term goals and using aluminiums. And aluminium is a core of every car in BMW, and this aluminium is green.
Perfect. They are a market leader, so they have an area to put the restriction. It's a perfect example. Thank you, Victoria.
Yeah, and I thank you to sharing this very important nowadays topic about sustainability and green supply chain. Thank you once again for sharing your knowledge, and we'll be happy to see you in the next session.